Today's video, we're going to see if these bullets from Underwood Ammo have any magic. I hope you'll stick around. Hi, George here, and welcome to Tales from Target Suite, where I'll share my perspective on guns and shooting, and we'll have an adventure or two that'll make even a grown man smile. And if you watch the channel for the last few months, you know that we took a family vacation to the Black Hills back in, I think it was in September. And while we were there, we got to see Mount Rushmore and a whole bunch of other great things, the buffalo herds in Custer State Park. But I also took a side trip to Rapid City and visited Lehigh Defense. And while I was there, they were making a new bullet. I think it was new at the time, a 160 grain extreme defense bullet. And my host there at Lehigh Defense, and I have forgotten his name. But anyway, he mentioned to me that 160 grain bullet was going to be an awesome deer and pig round. And so I have been trying to get my hands on them ever since, but I'm convinced that the material is not really solid copper, but it falls further down the periodic table, and it's called unobtainium, because I haven't been able to get my hands on any of those bullets. And lo and behold, I found some online, and there is one of them right here, and it is that beautifully nickel-plated Starline brass is hosting that 160 grain Lehigh Defense extreme defense bullet. Now, Underwood Ammo calls this their Extreme Hunter cartridge, and that's what we're going to see here. If we can either, we won't be able to prove or disprove anything, but we might be able to give an indication how good it is. And so we're going to set up here and do some energy transfer in the ballistic gel eventually. But I want to say, I shot a little bit earlier, and these bullets were all printing very high, like 6-8 inches high at 40-50 yards. And so I'm suspecting that the velocities are really up there. In fact, let me walk over here and I'll show you what the box says. The box says, there it is it going to focus? The box says 1,800 feet per second. Now that's out of a pistol cartridge, I am sure, or a pistol, I am sure. And so we're going to be shooting it out of my Winchester 1892 that you saw just a few minutes ago with the 20-inch barrel. So we're going to get a lot better velocity out of these Underwood Ammo cartridges than you would out of a pistol. But right now, let's get set up and with my big orange lab radar, and let's shoot it and see what the muzzle velocity is. And I bet we're going to be able to capture the 25-yard velocity, the 50, the 75, and the 100-yard velocity, all at the same time, courtesy of one shot from the lab radar. Let's see what it looks like. And I want to say thanks to my friend Tom, because he very generously donated a couple of boxes of that Underwood Ammo Extreme Hunter ammunition to the channel, and really made this possible. And so, Tom, thank you very much. Now, one thing about the lab radar, it's been a long time since I talked about it, but because it uses a Doppler signal, and the Doppler signal triggers with the report of the rifle, sends out a continuous Doppler signal for just a fraction of a second, bounces off of the base of the bullet at predetermined ranges that I determine, sends it back, and so I'll be able to record several velocities, both at the muzzle and then at 25, 50, 75, and 100 yards. And so I'll be able to tell you what all of those are. And so let me get the lab radar turned on. I'm going to shoot one round here, but let's get started. And there it is. Underwood Ammo Extreme Hunter 160 grain bullet. Okay, here we go. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, there you can see the muzzle velocity was 2099. The velocity at 25 yards was 1873. At 50 yards it was 1658, and at 100 yards it was still 1299, and it even gave me 125 yard velocity of 1156. Now those are real velocities. Those are not interpolated velocities. And so that's what's really cool about the lab radar, is it gives you a lot of data. Now let's go back over to the range and do some more shooting. Well, I confess I did shoot a few of those rounds earlier across the lab radar, and if you combine those earlier shots with what we just did right there, we're averaging about 2120 feet per second with these Underwood Ammo Extreme Hunter bullets out of the 20-inch Winchester 1892 carbine. And the magic happens in those flutes. That is the fluid transfer monolithic design from Lehigh Defense. So I'm going to get loaded up and we'll shoot a few more rounds. By the way, you can tell that I'm sporting a Marble Arms bullseye sight here on the Winchester 1892. It's a great sight. But the problem is that with these high velocity rounds, I'm not able to get the rifle down on target, and so I'm actually having to shoot low. And if I was going to shoot a lot of these $2.50 44 Magnum rounds, I would have to put a new front sight on, but we're not doing that for this video because I don't think I'll shoot too many more of these, not for fun for sure. But again, thanks to Tom, and I thank all of you guys and girls who support me either on Patreon or by sending me ammo or loaning me firearms, things like that. It really makes making content possible. So I'm going to shoot a few more rounds. I've got a jug of water down there, a red jug, and I also have a blue mystery container filled with some stuff that I put together before I got Ballistic Gel from Clear Ballistics, that I bought from Clear Ballistics. But that is a container filled with blue with blue noodles. And so I was trying to come up with some kind of medium that would test expansion prior to the introduction of Ballistic Gel on this channel. So I found that in the refrigerator, trying to clean out in the barn for getting ready for Thanksgiving of 2021, when all the family's going to be here along with all of the food. So anyway, we're gonna pop that blue container with blue with blue noodles. Let me shoot a few more rounds and then we'll get the Ballistic Gel out and see what happens. I think I'll put it in my ears. Okay, I was holding right at the very bottom of each one of those steel targets. And so you can see, maybe you can see how much higher I'm printing. It's about 6 inches at the most distant target and about 4 inches at these closer targets. And a pretty good pop, a pretty good kick. These guys here, where it may be a lightweight bullet for the 44 Magnum, about 160 grains, the velocity is way up there. And so let's get that Ballistic Gel set up and see what that means, if anything. Okay, we got the Ballistic Gel set up here. I'll give you a pass through because we do have We do have some previous shots in this block. This is our newest block, and it's got 3 channels already in it. So we'll just record those here really before we get started, and then we'll come back and see how the permanent wound channels look after the fact. Okay, we're going to shoot 2 bullets at the ballistic gel. The first thing we're going to shoot, of course, is and this is what the video is all about, and that is the Underwood Ammo 160 grain Extreme Hunter. But just for a comparison, I wanted to shoot this is a hand load with a Hornady XTP 140 grain hollow point bullet, and this is loaded at near almost max, and the velocities are in the 1700 feet per second range for a 240 grain bullet versus a 160 grain bullet. And so we'll have a chance to see penetration and expansion with the Underwood Ammo versus the Hornady XTP. We're going to start first with the Underwood Ammo sporting the 160 grain Lehigh Defense Extreme Defense bullet. Now let me go get the super slow-mo turned on, and we'll shoot the first shot and then get set up and then shoot the second shot. Okay, both of those bullets hit the very top edge of the ballistic gel, so I'm going to have to hold even lower to get down into the center of that gel. Okay, that was perfect. I just had to go lower. So let's try this Hornady 240 grain XTP and see what kind of reaction we get in the gel. That looked like a solid hit. Okay, everything's set back up again. Now we're looking back to front. There is the Underwood Ammo Extreme Hunter. And right up there is the hand load with the Hornady XTP. Let's look at it from the side. There we are with the Lehigh Defense and the Hornady XTP. I'll cut those out and show them to you here at the very end. But it looks like we got 20 inches penetration with the Hornady XTP. And I would say we have 30 inches of penetration, plus or minus a half inch with my calibrated eyes. Now, as far as the wound channel goes, you saw a much bigger explosion here, a much bigger reaction in the first gel to the initial expansion of the Hornady XTP. Let's look at the wound channel. And there is the Hornady XTP wound channel right there. It's a pretty extensive wound channel to about 9 inches. Let me get around here on the other side. To about 9 inches, and then it tapers off. It's hard to see right there, but it tapers off to almost nothing after about 9 inches. Whereas the Lehigh Defense right here had a more pronounced, less pronounced in the very beginning wound channel, as far as permanent wound channel in the ballistic gel, but it continued on for about 14 inches and even had a little resurgence right there in the second gel block. So what does that tell us? Well, you get more penetration. Let me get my ears out. You definitely get more penetration with the Extreme Defense bullet. And I would say, based on, I've only looked quickly at the at the slow motion video on this camera, but fairly decent expansion, I would say, and more than adequate. And the extra penetration that you get would really pay off in a less than ideal shot on a pig or a deer. And so I've got to say, I wouldn't declare a winner here necessarily, but I would say that Underwood Ammo does give you an additional dimension of, we'll just call it penetration. And you can let me know in the comments what you think after you have analyzed the slow motion video and the wound channels that I have just shown you. Now, let's get back out there and do something about this blue tub of old noodles. So don't forget to stick around, and I'm going to show you those two bullets as we cut them out of the ballistic gel. But I want to say thanks again to Tom for helping me out with 2 boxes of the Underwood Ammo Extreme Hunter bullets, and these 5 represent all that's left of what amounted to about $110 minus shipping, not including shipping, $110 worth of ammo. So without the support from you guys and girls, content like this would be impossible. So I want to say thanks to all my patrons. If you would like to join my cadre of patrons, there's a link in the description to go to patreon.com. It's pretty easy to set up. And I just want to say thanks for the rest of you guys and girls for watching, for commenting, and for supporting the channel that way. Now let me shoot these last 5 rounds. Let me shoot these last 5 rounds, and then we'll take a look at those bullets. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.
Brody. Brody.
Get it?
I did.
For a moment there, I thought the blue was inside of it.
Now I shot those. I shot those 2.
Oh man.
They're pretty.